Looks like I made it. Get everything pulled up on my computer. Hi, Linda. All right. Hi, Victoria. All right, let me get the pattern pulled up because I've only made this like 3 times. So if you were in Madeline's video earlier, I talked about, I mentioned that I use the Gold Star Tools heavy woven interfacing instead of Woven Fuse 2, and I mentioned that I would show you like a comparison. What I did is I have sample, this is the Gold Star, this is the Woven Fuse 2. They don't look very different at all side by side. There's a slight weave difference. This one is a little wider weave than the Woven Fuse. The Woven Fuse 2 to me looks like a sheet, like bed sheets, and this one looks a little wider in the grain. But when you actually iron them on, there is very, very, very little difference. This is on a piece of Lauren's watercolor roses that I adore, little scrap that I had. So the Gold Star is slightly less thick once it's ironed on than the Woven Fuse. Not much. You really won't notice much of a difference. And then on something, this is just a cheap piece of fabric from Joann, left side by side. You can see it's a little tiny bit thinner with my light behind it, but not much. I actually prefer it. It's wider. It comes in 60-inch width instead of 45. It's $60 for 10 yards and 99-cent shipping anywhere in the US. So it comes out to $61 for 10 yards of 60-inch width. So for every 3 yards of the stuff from Gold Star, you're getting extra yard that you wouldn't with the Woven Fuse, if that makes sense at all, because you're getting the extra 15 inches. So, I mean, that's how I did the math on it. I'm a math nerd, I'm sorry. So that's that. If you have questions, please, 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 please let me know. I searched for something different. But for my Boon, have my black vinyl. This flower is so pretty. So this will actually be the flap. So it'll sit like this, and you'll have the leaves on that side. Let me make sure everything looks okay. Okay. I went ahead and folded my card slots because these take, yes, it is actually. That was like the first thing I checked. So the adhesive on the back is the exact same. It's that smooth, full coverage glue, just like the Woven Fuse. So if you look at the back of it, you can't tell the difference from the back. They look exactly the same from the back of them. Like I said, the only real difference between these is the Woven Fuse 2 has a slighter, tighter weave on the actual fabric portion of the Woven Fuse than the Gold Star tool, but it is not enough of a difference that it matters to me. I haven't noticed any difference. I have a bag that I actually made and it has both. Hi, Sherry. It actually has both interfacings in it because I ran out of Woven Fuse halfway through. And I can't tell which piece is which after it's ironed on. So I really, really like that if you wanted to give it a try. Yeah, and he sells it by the roll too. It's like $300 for a 300-yard roll, I think. I might be wrong, but it's huge roll and it's pretty cheap by comparison. So I need to top stitch these. I'm gonna slightly adjust this camera. My little base that I have it on isn't the sturdiest, and I apologize. So this is my Juki. I have an 1181N, just like Lauren. And I'm using a size 19 needle, Tech 70 thread. I have the Amon thread from Sunny Sewing. It's my favorite, except for my unicorn main sewing string from Wizardry Stitchery and Crafts. I can never say that straight. All right, so let's get these interfaced. I figured I'd go ahead and make the whole thing. I thought about just doing the little hack part, but I'll go ahead and make the whole thing. I might actually have a small piece of SF101 I can compare to if somebody needs to see the difference in those two. I haven't bought SF101 in forever. You're welcome, Linda. I just saw that comment pop up. I know everybody's always asking, like, what's the difference? And Lauren has a video, which I think she said she needs to redo because some things have changed. I did use, on these, I used 809 from Pellon. 808 and 809 are the same thing. 809 is twice the width. So I used 809 on my card slots. I just like the way that it feels. If I'm using cotton for the card slots instead of just the woven interfacing. It finishes nicer, crisper edge on the slots. I'm not gonna lie, I had some left over and I think I used it on something to get rid of it, but it wasn't anything that I was like super into making because I was like, this stuff is crap, I'm done, I don't want it anymore. And that was my first batch of Woven Fuse 2 I bought. I think I still had almost half a bolt of SF101. Last one. I missed one. Forgot to trim that. It's weird. I'm catching myself moving on my computer over here, and it's tripping me out. All right, now I'm going to baste all these down so they stay still for the rest of the process. Three bolts. Yeah, I would probably want to get those mostly finished or sell them off. Go into one of those fabric destash groups and sell it off. There are people that don't know the difference. I took a really long break last year. I just didn't have any sojo, as they call it. Then there was a lot of in and out with my partner, getting ready for a deployment. So it was, they'd be here, they wouldn't be here, they were here, they were not. And so back and forth like that with the kids was rough enough. All right, now I need to remind myself which one goes where. Okay, short side. Half an inch. I'm pulling a Madeline, I'm totally eyeballing my half an inch. Okay. What has happened? Why are you curving weird? Okay. I'm taking a big risk with this black thread on this pink. I have my iron behind me. This was shut off. Of course it did. I keep my iron right here. So all I have to do is swivel. I don't have a very big room. This is what they refer to as the formal dining room. We have no use for one of those. So we use it as I use it as a sewing room. And I have to remember to check my bobbin because I'm using one that was already started. But I remember this wallet doesn't take much in the way of thread either. Alrighty. Other side. I mean, if you don't need a dining room, it's the perfect place to put a sewing room. The only issue I have with it is the front door is right there. It gets cold in here. I say cold, I'm in Georgia, 50 is cold. Oh, see, I don't even have, I mean, technically I have a table. I use a IKEA table as my desk, which is on the left side. So it's an L shape, my sewing table, and then my desk is over here. And then when I'm sewing, I'm like boxed in with my iron behind me. There's not much room to move around in here. Before we moved in here, I was in our dining room, which is like an eat-in kitchen area, and we just ate in the living room because it was easier that way. Oh, I wish we had weather that I could do that. Why does that look weird? I guess it's not. It just looks weird. Eventually, I would like to have one of those she sheds or something similar to that, where it's a completely separate building. But we have to stop moving first. Alright, card slots are done, and I forgot to put my tag on. It's fun, right? Oh well. I will figure a new spot for it. Oops. Make sure we're measuring 8 inches. And card slots are finished. Zipper pocket. On this wallet, I think this is my least favorite part. I like the much simpler zip pocket on the NCW. Alright. Which way do I want this to go? That way. Okay. Now I have my fancy tool. Alright, now I do change this part too. I do a 1/2 inch box instead of a 3/8 because I use number 5 zipper tape. I do not use number 3 zippers ever. I do this weird because this only goes down to 7 and I need 6. Where did my pen go? Hey, Madeline. Yes, everyone needs one of these templates. It does do the 3/8 inch boxes, but I never have use for them. Never have use for it. I do measure this part out. And there goes my 9-year-old. Hi, Melanie. My 9-year-old who was supposed to be asleep because tomorrow is a school day. Thank you. I actually have this in where the flowers are blue too, but I didn't have another fabric that I like to go with the blue one, so I used the pink one. Now I do the 2 lines. I sew a line across the top and a line across the bottom. I don't sew the short sides. There are probably 5 million different ways to do zippers. I didn't backstitch, that's funny. It's gonna come right on out of there, isn't it? Steve's, you stay where you go. My machine has attitude sometimes, so we have to talk to it. Yes, the box. So I was watching yours and I was like, what did you do? How did you manage that? Yeah, so the way it is you're supposed to, once you've got the zipper pocket made, you're supposed to fold it over this way, stitch across the bottom, and flip it. You got really lucky on yours. Let go. There we go. All right. Time to flip. Yeah, that's a pretty fun group to be in. That's why I was a little less nervous about going live in here for the first time ever. Although, Madeline, I don't think I put it down quite far enough. I don't think I'm going to have much in the way of space on top for sewing my pocket together. Whoops. All right, to the iron. Oh, thank you, Melanie. You should see the shaking. Also, it's 8:30, and my my medication is wearing off, so I might get a little scattered. Apologies in advance. I have ADHD, and so my medicine starts wearing off by 8:30, 9 o'clock, sometimes 10 o'clock I notice it, but you start wearing off and I start getting all over the place. But I do get my best work done. Alright. Yeah, that is way, 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 way too close. Whoops. We're gonna make it work though. Okay. I'm using some of this really pretty zipper tape from Lauren. pretty. And where did my red scissors go? Oh no. Oh, I've been sewing bags for years. I finally upped my game for, like, I didn't think I could do anything beyond like a basic bag for the longest time. And then I got brave and tried, what was the one I tried? I think it was Davina from Bagstock. And I was like, yes. And it's got that iridescent zipper tape. This is from Lauren at Moreno. She actually, so the previous zipper release had this tape, and then in the newest one, she did it again. So I was like, yeah, I need 3 more yards of that. I love the green. All right, this is my zipper jig. I got mine from Enchanted Playground. It has a rainbow fork. How can you go wrong? Now this might take me a minute. I'm kind of finicky with them. I got it on the first try. Y'all are lucky. First try. It never happens. All right. And it's purple on the bottom, which is like my all-time favorite color. And then it's like a mother-daughter duo. The mother designs everything, but the daughter does all the artwork on them. And you can get one either with the skulls or without. It's just so pretty. Yeah. Hey, a plastic takeout fork works. I stole a fork out of my kitchen. I'm okay with using like the long dinner forks, but everyone else in my family likes using the smaller forks. So I took one of the big forks. And now my children, my adult children, because I have 5 children. I have 3 adults and 2 that are still at home. One of them is messaging me now wanting a recipe. One second. And I'm going to turn off the sound for notifications. All right, there we go. Oh, 4 grown. I only got 1 boy, and he's the 9-year-old. Yeah, I have 3 grown girls, 2 of which have made me a grandmother. So I have 2 granddaughters, and then I have a 9-year-old and a 6, almost 7-year-old. But I have a set of twins, so I kind of cheated. I got 2 of them at once. And this is going to be fun because that is super short on the top. I may need to use some tape. Two girls and a boy, 25, 21, and 15. My twins are 23. Yeah, 23. And then the single after them will turn 22 on the 25th of this month. So yeah. Lots of fun in this house. Why does that look backwards? It is backwards. Sorry. I like my zippers to go from left to right. I'm left-handed. I don't know why that makes a difference, but it does to me. 22 and 20 and 23. 22 and 23. See, you're like me. I have 22 and 23. Except I had twins and then a singleton 15 months later. Yeah, she was a shock. Alright. Let's get this down. As long as I have enough to top stitch it. Oh, I actually made, so my 22-year-old made me a grandmother first, and that's my little Miley. Yes, she's named after Miley Cyrus. And she'll be 2 in March, and then my baby B of the twins made me a grandmother in November for little Ellison. But I made the Aragon bag by So Sweetness for Cameron, my 22-year-old, and then for the 23-year-old Tristan, I made her the Fun Bobby backpack, and she loves it, and she said she gets loads of compliments. So that makes me happy to hear. Mostly that she loves it. $29, $25, $24. Whew, busy. You know, people used to ask me all the time when it's like if it was harder having twins, and until I had my 9-year-old, I couldn't tell you because I went from 2 to 3. Oh, see, I tell my kids all the time, I would love grandkids, but if you don't want to give them to me, that's up to you. You're the one that has to raise them, not me. I have done my baby raising. Concealed carry bags, yeah. I think the Rudinasia might work for one of those. I considered looking. I made a Rudinasia, and I think that front pocket would work. And this is going to have a very nasty spot on the corner. I turned 42 in May. I wasn't 40 when my first granddaughter was born. Yeah, because that pocket goes all the way through on the front. Yeah. It's the curse of having kids young. You can be a grandmother before you want to be. Alright, let's see if this works. Oh, this is going to be fun. Oh, I get to sew only on the zipper tape to sew the top of the zipper closed. Zipper pocket closed. That's all I got. Right there. Just the zipper. The 40s aren't as bad as I thought they'd be. I thought they'd be horrible. They're not as bad as I thought they'd be. Although I turned 40 and immediately needed multi-line, or the transition lenses, the bifocals, no line bifocals. Alright, so this is going to be more of a top stitch than an actual stitched pocket shut. Did we make it? Is it a pocket? Aha! It's a pocket. Okay, now I need to sew the sides. Yes. It's like, oh. And it was also the first time since I was like 14 that I had to wear glasses. Because I was wearing contact lenses forever. And she gave me, the optometrist gave me a trial pair of the bifocal or multifocal contact lenses, and they were crap. They just made me nauseous. 52 in June, 25. See, you waited a while to have children. I did not do that. I found out I was pregnant with the twins 10 days before my 18th birthday. I found out it was twins right before Father's Day that year. Hey Madeline, weren't you saying that when you're doing something, that's when your children call you? Yeah, I now have messages from 2 of my adult daughters. See, they told me that my prescription was too bad and I may as well not even try. Said I'd probably need glasses in like a year anyway. Those 2 eyes might go a little wonky. Right? It's like, hey, mom's doing something. See, and I waited for the little ones to be in bed. Well, I say little, they're 6 and 9, but I waited for them to be in bed so that I would have less chance that someone would be bothering me. Nope. It definitely is. They're like, oh, mom's doing something. Let's see if she can talk. Well, I was doing that for a while, but I just got these last week, and now I can see without having to take them off again. Alright, let's flip this out. My only child, I had 38. See, I had my last one. She was born in April. I turned 35 in May. My arm, yes. Fertility. Yeah, I don't wish that on anyone. Up through my son, it was very easy. And then we decided we wanted to have another one after my 9-year-old. And 3 miscarriages in between. So I don't wish that on anyone. It was awful. I'm not quite there yet, completely blind. I can make out some shapes, but not many. Alright, I'm going to iron this because it looks wonky, but that's zipper pocket. I totally feel you. Arm is not long enough to read. Trombone arm. Funny enough, I figured it out in the shower. I was trying to read the directions on this hair mask that I had because I have curly hair. And I was trying to read the directions and they make the print on those things so small. I couldn't read it. Of course they do. I think my favorite thing about this wallet is how fast it sews. That's how my mother-in-law is. They have to keep getting bigger televisions so that she can see the television. That's even with her glasses. And then top stitch to top, so I thought. I'm sure I'll get there eventually. I should have done the other side first. Yeah, it does. I don't know. Well, I sewed right off the edge of that. I don't know if my new phone would fit. So I have the new S21 Ultra. I don't know that that one would fit, and I'm on it, or I would try. She plans to have her first kid at 29. Yeah, let's see. Had my son at 32. And that was just like starting all over again. This is my version of wine. It's coffee. It helps with the ADHD brain. Alright. That's done. Now we have to put it all together. No, we have to do the outside first. Just kidding. Coffee is life. You do not want to see me when I haven't had coffee. It was hard keeping up, like, at 35. I was just tired. It was definitely harder to deal with the pregnancy exhaustion with a toddler running around when I was 34. And even though I wasn't going to officially be 35 when my daughter was born, my 6-year-old, they had me as an AMA mother. So that's advanced maternal age. So yeah, they made me feel older than I needed to. I had a 2-year-old ball of energy and I was exhausted. They make you feel like you're 80 having a kid. It's like, no, I'm still in my 30s. Stop it. And then I had to do all the extra tech. Thanks, Kira. Watching TV, cutting out drinking a Monster. Thanks, Kira. Yeah, I had to do all the extra testing and stuff, and it was just, I'm not 35. All right. I'm going to sew it this way because it's wanting to curve that way. All right, 1/2 inch seam allowance. Plus I have my Decaville Heavy to follow for seam allowance. Oh, come on. Stop it. Uh-oh. Okay, we got enough. Probably change it. Oh, bed rest. I was on bed rest from 6 months forward with the twins because I kept going into preterm labor. Of course, I looked full term at like 5 months. My tiny 100-pound body, pre-pregnancy 100-pound 17-year-old self. My body was just like, are we done yet? Are we done yet? There's a lot of baby in here. Are we done yet? So, I actually ended up spending a week at a high-risk hospital because they couldn't stop them at the regular hospital and they were afraid I was going to deliver them at 26 weeks. So I ended up spending a week in the hospital. That was fun. Not really. And that was also a teaching hospital, so every time the doctor comes in, there's like 15 people with them because everybody has to learn. I don't know that it's behaving. I didn't clip it. Hold on, you just reminded me. Vinyl behaving. I didn't clip it. It's a little thicker than yours too. That might be another reason. This is a scrap of vinyl that I had laying around. I don't even remember where I got it. But it's one of those with the woven back that I like instead of the fuzzy. Yeah, I started, I weighed 100 pounds, like 105 pounds when I got pregnant. Nothing, I weighed nothing. And I gained 100 pounds with my pregnancy, and they were born at 35 weeks. They weighed 8 pounds, 13 ounces together. The baby A, Tyler, was 4 pounds 5 ounces, and then baby B Tristan was 4 pounds 8 ounces, and then my middle child came along 15 months later and weighed 8 pounds 7 ounces all by herself. Yeah, I really wish I could remember where I got this, because I really like this vinyl, and this is like end of the road on this one. Alright, so that'll be the flap. So let's put, alright, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put my tag, because I didn't put it inside like I wanted to. So I have the sew-on ones. I get these, it's Spotted Zebra CA on Etsy. These are a faux leather, and it has a silver, and so when they engrave them, the silver comes out, and I really like them. Whew. New. My middle one was 8'7". She was my biggest one. Yeah, I never went back down to anywhere close to 105 after anything. Yeah, these are really pretty. I love them. It's actually my second order of them. I went through the first order. I ordered 25 because I was like, what if I don't like them? So I ordered 25 to start, and then I went back and ordered 100. Let's do right there. I'm eyeballing it, Madeline. It might not be completely straight, but whatever. There's more on that bottom than I thought there was. Sweet. will say I worked my butt off and lost 40 pounds because thanks to an old medication I had gained 40. I was my highest weight I'd ever been not pregnant, and I wasn't happy. What am I doing? Oh. Thread zapper. Alright. It's not completely centered, but that's alright. Alright. Now we can put it all together. Oh yeah, let's put the snap on first. I use these really, really thin ones. I really like them for wallets. Like super thin. Yes, I'm getting to the good part. Getting to the good part. Putting it all together. We're almost to the part where I make the big change. Okay. It is. It's I forget who this is by. But yeah, it's a quilt weight cotton. I got I think I got it on Etsy, but yeah, it's just a quilt weight cotton that I put my Gold Star tool heavyweight woven interfacing words on, and then my Deckerville Heavy interfacing, that stabilizer on the back for structure on the flap. Words, they're leaving my brain. And the side. Female. Okay. I think my favorite part about this is it looks textured. If you look right at it, it looks like it might be a canvas with the texture in it. But it is not. I had it. I lost it. Piece. Try not to stab myself with the very sharp scalpel. It's a good idea, right? Yeah, and like I said, I have it in blue too. So where that one is pink, it's blue. Don't try this at home. Just kidding. I will have to look at that. I like canvas because you don't have to really interface it if you don't want to. especially like the thicker ones. But it's really hard to find it sometimes. But I will definitely look into So Pretty vinyls. All right, this one goes. The post office messed this thing up when in the mail. It got caught on the belt, so it's like all messed up, so my thing doesn't like to go in right. You can do it. You know you want to. There we go. Talking to inanimate objects. It's fun, right? Okay. Now we have snaps. Okay. Now. Alright. Card slot. Line at bottom corners. Card slot should be facing right. That is the wrong end. Yes. And because that blade is curved, like it just wants to get stuck. And it's like all cut up. It's awful. But I love that seam ripper. No. Why are you crooked? There we go. after this, I think I'm going to change my bobbin just to be safe. I hear it ticking. And I don't want to press my luck because I won the bobbin lottery when I was top stitching my moonwake. There's like an inch left. Just drop it on the floor. Okay, that's not enough. I don't like the way that looks. That's going to cause a nightmare. All right, now we put this part on. Okay. Down the sides, top stitch the bottom. Ouch. And that's like scalpel. It is very sharp. Woo. All right. Now, here's where I changed it. Final construction. All right, so you're gonna put your pieces right sides together because you can't do it any other way. So Madeline did hers where she stitched around and left most of the bottom straight edge open. I think Vanessa this morning did too. And then folded it under. Now the pattern says that you sew it around the curve, leave this whole bottom open, and then you flip those card slots so that they are on the back side, and then close all that up. All right, so here's where I changed it. I'm going to stitch about an inch on this curved edge, come down this long edge, across the straight bottom, back up the long edge, and then about an inch here, turn it, and then I'm going to top stitch here. There is so much less bulk here than down here. There's vinyl down here, there's Decaville light down here, there's all your card slots down here, and like 5 layers of fabric. So for me, this was much less horrid. So here we go. And then I'll show you the difference in the two that I made prior to this. The one made the right way, and the one made this way. Why are you not lined up? Don't do that. Okay, here we go. All right, my magnet. Oh, my magnet caught. That's what it is. Okay. All right. 1/2 inch seam allowance. Slow and steady over the bulk. And my iron is done. Oh, please. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to turn it right side out. Sewing. Oh, you know it helps if we trim it down first. Of course it did. He doesn't do the sewing thing. And just like everything else, don't trim where you're having some. Okay. Now we can turn it. If I can keep my hand out of the pockets on the inside. And I forgot to clip that. Oh. Like, I did it this way and I was like, why isn't it written this way? This makes much more sense, especially if you're sewing it on a domestic. I know my domestic, I have a Juki 2200, and I know that that thing would not make it through the top stitching. And I know that's the Sci Swag video, she does it the same way, where you fold over the bottom. Come on. I will say it is a little bit harder to turn this way because you're futzing with the vinyl. And this is my fancy turning tool. Yeah, it can, but if you clip it like you would normally when you turn it, like you snip into it, it really isn't much harder. And I'll show you. It really isn't. As long as you get it started, you do that inch like you do for everything else. You get it started on that spot. It really isn't too hard to do to get it to cooperate. But yes, highly, highly recommended on a domestic. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I don't top stitch around the whole thing either. I only top stitch that that curve because I think that it mirrors the top stitching here and just looks, I think it looks nice. And like I said, it is a little rougher because you are futzing with turning corners on vinyl or cork, whatever you choose to use for your accent on the outside, but in the end it works out much better. There we go. This corner is not wanting to play nice. Come on. You wanna? There we go. Alright. So now, get everything flat. That corner still looks a little wonky. Everything flattened out. For finishing, this is important, otherwise you're never going to get it to lay flat. So you have the curve. Before you tuck it, clip it 1/4 inch, because you're top stitching at 1/8, so you don't want to snip too far and it be seen. You are going to flip this under the 1/2 inch, just like the seam allowance. But you don't want to. No, see, that's why I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this. So then we just tuck it. And if you're smart and you don't put your deck of the light up into your seam allowance on this top edge, it'll be easier to fold under. Just remember, there's no such thing as too many clips, especially when you're working on curves. Thank you, Madeline. Oh, you're welcome, Linda. I'm just happy that I was brave enough to get on here and do it. All right. Futz with it enough and it'll... Okay. Clipped. Top stitch set to 5. Why do you look funny? It's tight. Thanks, Linda. I love this fabric. It's so pretty. I wish it wasn't out of print. That is that. Ah! Of course it did. It nested on me because I wasn't paying attention. Oh well, this is for my 6-year-old to play with. All right. And then zip up my pocket. I didn't put that up far enough. Oh well, like I said, it's for my 6-year-old. That should have been up just a touch further. Okay. And no cut fingers. I'm not bleeding anywhere. Actually end up bleeding sewing more often than not, so bonus points. Okay, so this is mine with the hack. There's the flap. Don't mind my nest. And like I said, if you take your time and use as many clips as you want on this curve, it'll lay nice and flat and look just as nice as if you had done it the other way. Let me grab my other two. Hold on. Okay. So this is the first one that I did. And I did this one exactly as the pattern says. And what you end up with is you flip this, which is what you're supposed to do. You flip this in. Yeah, snip and clip. That's like on curves. You snips and clips. So it has you turn it like this. So your card slots are here on the back side. And then you just sew this edge and it's all raw. And I know it's just gonna come all icky later. it'll start unraveling. And you could probably cover it if you wanted to. You could put like a binding or something on it, but that's even more bulk down there to deal with. So I didn't like that idea. And then, like I said, just... And it looks nice. I'm not going to lie. It does look nice. But this is the one that I did. And when I figured out this top curve was easier to top stitch closed. And then in here, it's all nice and finished. It's all finished. There's nothing that's going to fray and get ugly. So, I like it. So, that's my little hack. If you have any questions, let me know before I hop off. But, yeah, I should have put this up just a little bit higher. But I like it. It's pretty. It works. So, you're welcome, Kelly. You're welcome, Sherry. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm glad that it's helpful. Like I said, with the domestic machine, I scared to death of trying to top stitch that bottom edge. You're welcome, Katie. Glad to help. You're welcome, Madeline. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you have watched this later and you have questions, just comment and tag me so I get it. And I will try to help you as best I can. And I think that's going to be it for me tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will say I'm not rooting for anyone in the Super Bowl except for Tom Brady. Anyway, y'all have a good night. And I can't wait to see everybody's finished Boon's swaps all done, and I have to finally now decide on what I'm going to make for my swap partner. So, you guys have a good night, and I will see you guys around. Bye.